and a not so lovely look at all the trash that continues to pile up in Chula Vista and parts of San Diego because, as you may have guessed, there's still no deal between sanitation workers and Republic Services. The strike started December 17th when more than 200 Republic Sanitation workers walked off the job. They're demanding better pay, they want better equipment, and overall better working conditions. The city has declared a public health emergency. A declaration is expected to be approved at next Tuesday's City Council meeting.
That we can invoke the self-help option and get rid of all of this overflow trash that's spilling out, causing a public health emergency in Chula Vista. So we are starting to collect this trash. Some of our crews went out today, but we're beefing up these efforts, and we are going to be charging Republic Services back for our efforts to collect and pick up the trash that they have neglected to do.
This is a health problem now. And we need someone to help us because there's a lot of trash, and the odors and the animals, the rats, there's cats eating the trash, and there's too much. Something needs to be done like now.
Republic Service drivers currently earn $24.60 per hour. They're looking for a contract that would increase the hourly pay $2 in the first year and then $1 per year after that. So the contract would run until 2025, and that would bring the hourly wage to around $29.60. The strike has also been extended to 4 Republic Services facilities in Washington. So with me now, we've got Zenita Encarnacion. She's a candidate for Chula Vista mayor. She's got the latest on this. First of all, good morning, and thank you for being here with us.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of our workers and our community here in Chula Vista.
Okay, so let's talk about what is happening now, Zenita. We've got the city declaring a public health emergency, but I do understand they are enacting the self-help clause that's saying, hey, the city can do what it wants to actually start picking up this trash.
Yeah, the public health emergency declaration is critical to this next step. In the past, it's what allows us to trigger that self-help clause. There was language in the contract that defined work stoppage due to labor strikes as an uncontrollable circumstance. And by identifying that as an uncontrollable circumstances, it really did relieve and minimize the obligations that Republic had to do in terms of providing services. There was some notice in there that they had to give the city, and they had to require minimal services and try their best, I think is the language in the contract, to provide full services at any means necessary. But they have not been able to do that yet. And so with the council declaring the public health emergency, that allows them to invoke and supersede that language and invoke that self-help clause to bring in additional help and start bringing services to the community and holding Republic Services liable for the costs that are incurred.
And that help is going to come from where? Park rangers, public works departments?
You know, I'm not sure. The city is probably figuring that out right now. We have 2 other trash haulers in the county that also provide services. Republic Services has a franchise agreement with the city. So under the current contract, we are exclusively serviced by Republic Services, which is problematic as well. But the self-help clause allows us to go out. There's plenty of folks out there who can help us. It's just a matter of the city having the ability to call them in.
So I live, you know, we've been focusing on the Chula Vista area, but other areas are impacted as well. I'm in the Grantville Allied Gardens area, and we had trash piling up as well. It was finally collected the other day, so it seems like some areas are seeing a little bit of progress here.
Yeah, and I think that's what we really see as with everything is just this really inequitable way of people being served in our community. So if you have a car and you have the means to carry your trash down to the wasteland, you can, right? But single family homes were being prioritized. But what about folks who live in apartments who actually have more trash than the single family homes? And so, you know, that's the problem. I'm glad the city has taken action. I understand that, you know, because of some of the limitations of the language that was in that contract when it was approved in 2014, it really cost the city time, and it bought company time. But I'm happy to see, I think our community is happy to see, these workers are our family, our friends, and our neighbors. Chula Vista is a city of working families, working individuals, and it's not surprising to me that the community is coming out so strongly in support of these workers who are just wanting to have just wages and safe, healthy work conditions.
And we want that. You want everyone in your community to feel appreciated, feel valued. I was going to ask, in the community itself, because of this strike, do you feel a sort of animosity in between the community, or are people kind of just like, well, we need to figure this out, let's figure it out?
Like I said, Chula Vista is home to workers, right? Home to working families. There's frustration, absolutely. There's frustration, there's anger, the fact that our trash is not being picked up, that we're still being billed for trash, and there's understanding. Because again, these are our family, our friends, and our neighbors, and they're understanding that these workers have been coming to work every day during the pandemic. They've been keeping our streets and our communities clean. They are incredibly, if you have a chance to listen or talk, I've been out to the strike line several times. If you have a chance to talk to these workers, they are humble. They are so proud of the work that they do. And we know them because they're our neighbors and our family and friends. And so there's certainly a feeling of loyalty, wanting the company to do the right thing. This is a company that has been a good community partner in the past. So it's very disappointing. You hear a lot of disappointment in people's comments, in people's conversations, just disappointing that this company has not stepped up to really provide the workers the loyalty that the workers have provided the company and our community. We want to see Republic value our family, friends, and neighbors as much as we value them.
Zanita, we do have to wrap, but before we do, that's the situation now. What's next?
So next, the City Council is going to ratify that public health emergency order on Tuesday. They will enter into contracts. Now, just because they can activate the self-help language does not mean that that's the only means of action. There's also other language in there that I know that the city and the city attorney and the city manager are looking at in terms of holding Republic Services accountable for some of the lack of services these last 4 weeks. And we are in the 4th week now.
Okay, Zanita Encarnacion, candidate for Chula Vista Mayor, thank you for being up so early with us this morning. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.